guys. We're going to talk about walking around in the wintertime. Me being from South Florida, I had no clue what to do. Alright, so I was flopping around all over the place, trying to walk on ice, didn't know what black ice is. I had never seen anything like this. I mean, it is completely different. So things that small children probably know what to do, coming from a warm climate, I hadn't the slightest clue. So, two things. Two very crucial things if you're going to be walking, if you're coming from a warm place and come to visit somewhere and it's going to be snowing, and you got to know, actually there's three things you got to know. One, it's easier to walk on snow than it is on ice. So if you see an icy patch, and what they normally do is they try to move the snow out of the way, snow plows and everything. But if you see that there's an icy patch and you see snow, walk on the snow. You have more grip, more traction. It's just easier to get around, just to go around it and just walk on the snow. Don't think that you see the snow and then, you know what, I'm gonna walk in the snow, I'm gonna walk on the ice. Just step into the snow. And usually there's a little, before it gets big, there's a little mound or, a little bit of, half an inch of snow where it's been accumulating. Walk on that. Now, if you are gonna walk on the ice, all right, I learned this, you get out there, you start walking around for the first time, you don't realize you got to do a couple things. And you wind up looking like a tap dancer with your arms flaring around. And then everyone points and laughs because they can tell that you're not from the area. So when you do wind up walking on the ice, you want to walk like a duck. All right? You want to lift your legs, and when your feet come down, they come down flat. You start walking like normal, your feet are going to go forward, and if you try walking and your toes hit, you got to walk like a duck. And if you start sliding, you just strike a pose. And what that does, all right? So you don't want your feet going all over the place, because then you do the tap dance thing and you wind up in the dirt or wind up on the ice. So if you do start to slide a little bit, you strike a pose, just freeze. And usually what will happen, you'll just kind of slide a little bit and stop. Because if you just try to catch yourself, it's funny, I laugh at people now. But anyway, so strike a pose. Now, another thing I had to learn, because you start learning to walk around it, striking a pose, you're doing whatever, and then a lot of times they put salt, and they put the salt down on the ground to melt the snow, so people can drive, and then people put salt on the sidewalk so it melts the snow, so people can walk without falling down. So when they put the salt down on the sidewalk and it starts to melt, it obviously looks wet. Okay? Now, and that's where you want to walk. But there's a catch, okay? There's a catch. If you see a wet spot, there's this thing called black ice. Alright, so what happens is, black ice, and they call it black ice because it's clear, so it winds up looking like the road or something, and black, but you can't see it. But the one thing that you do see, it looks wet. So whenever you're going to walk on something and you're going to avoid the ice, and you see a wet spot that you want to walk on because you're thinking that it's salt, you always do like a dry test to make sure that it's not black ice, because you just might be walking normally, because when you're walking down the sidewalks and it's nice or whatever, you know, you kind of get loose and stuff like that. You see a wet spot, and it looks kind of like real glossy and everything, but it still looks wet. And next thing you know, it's a sheet of ice that you're stepping on, and you're walking normal, and you're not doing a duck walk. And then you do the tap dance thing, your arms start flailing, and you wind up on the ground. So when you come up to a cold place and it's snowing and stuff like that, those are the things you want to look for as far as being able to walk around without, you know, local people pointing and laughing at you. You want to look for black ice. You cannot tell that it's black ice until you actually step on it. Just it looks like it's wet. Just make sure it's melted and it's not black ice. Walk on a thin layer of snow. If you see ice, you want to walk on the snow, you have better tractions. Walk like a duck. If you are on ice, everybody else is doing it, so you won't look stupid. And then if you do start to slip, strike a pose. You'll appreciate it. Alright, so don't remember to yeah, whatever. Subscribe, don't subscribe, I don't care. Hit the like button, don't hit the like button. But those are the tips that you need to know if you're going to be coming up to a cold place and you want to walk around.